Hello everyone. So today I'm going to talk about the very important topic here, which is transfer of energy. The transfer of energy. We know that the transfer of energy takes place by two means. The transfer of energy takes by two means. The first is by the transfer of heat, and the second one is by the transfer of energy. Right? By the transfer of heat, and the second one is by transfer of energy. Specifically in this topic, we will discuss about the transfer of energy by mean of not by mean of it's like the transfer of heat. No, transfer of energy by mean of. Let me just write it again. I might have mistaken here. So transfer of energy takes place by two means. The change in heat and the work done. Change in heat and work done. Right. So change in heat and work done. So the transfer of heat takes place by two means. The change in heat and the work done. Right. So let's just cut it out. Wait. Okay, so just cut it out. It's like my minor mistake. Okay, so now specifically we're going to talk about the transfer of heat by mean of work done, not by work done, by mean of change in heat. So first of all, what is the definition of heat? Heat is basically the transfer of energy. The transfer of energy. The transfer of energy from between the system and surrounding is known as heat. Between system and surrounding is called heat. Or we can also say that it is a transfer. It is a exchange of. It is a transfer of heat when a change in temperature. Transfer of heat that only takes place. Transfer of heat which only takes place. Which only takes place when there is change in heat. Right? When there is a change in heat. Right? Which is delta Q. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to talk about what is a symbol of representation of heat. The heat is usually represented by delta Q. This is a symbol of heat, right? So it is basically represented by delta Q. Okay, so the SI unit of heat is joule, or I'm sorry, joule, right? Okay, so this is joule. Or the most frequently used unit of heat is calorie. Okay, so we can say it's calorie. Okay, so 1 calorie is equal to 4.18 joule. 4.18 joule. So this is basically some of the basic points about heat. I would say that when a work is done by when a heat is given to the system. So these are the key points that you need to remember here. That heat is given to the system. When heat is given to the system, the heat is positive. Change in heat is positive. This is the endothermic battery, right? And when heat is given by the system, when heat is given by the system, okay, so when the heat is given by the system, the change in heat is negative. Change in heat is negative. Now, the one of the most basic term that we need to discuss here is basically specific heat capacity. Formula of specific heat, first of all, the representation of specific heat capacity is C. It is represented by C, and C is equals to Q M delta T. Right. So, what does definition say? It says that it is the amount of heat. It lies in this complete formula. It is the amount of heat required to raise the mass per unit mass in temperature. It is the amount of heat required to raise the mass per unit in temperature T. This is basically specific heat capacity. And we would say that if we are talking about pressure and volume, right? So when right, so here this is a formula of then we're going to discuss about the work done case. But specific heat capacity is delta Q M delta T. Change in heat, the amount of work done by the amount of work required to raise the mass of per unit gram in temperature T is known as specific heat capacity. So these are the basic things about the when work is done by the actually when the change in energy takes place, That is basically by two means, by the change in heat or the work done. So this is the heat change.